Hey, I'm WangleLine. A long time ago I made a video talking about how I'm composing the soundtrack for Realm of the Mad God, to quote myself here, bullet hell pixel art MMORPG permadeath pew pew monster killy game. This has been going since July of 2019. Over time, however, many issues and frustrations have slowly built up, leading to me leaving Realm of the Mad God entirely behind. If you've read my posts on Roadmake subreddit, then you will already know most of what I'm going to talk about in this video, but I will also go into more detail regarding what happened and what's going to happen. To clarify things, I wasn't the only one working on the soundtrack. Aiden Strozzi, or Spave, co-composed on this project and I was the main composer. I guided the style of the music a lot and often turned Spave's smaller doodles into full tracks, doing the majority of the work. Some individual tracks were just him, a bunch of others were just me. If you'd like to know which tracks exactly were done by who, here's some numbers. So, what was so bad about this project that we both decided to leave long before finishing the OST? To begin, I'd like to talk about lots of broken promises and disappointments that were thrown our way. A system for dynamic music being one of the big ones. This means different biomes in the overworld realms having their own tunes, intense battle music blasting away when starting a boss fight, specific tunes not starting from the very beginning when switching away from a location and back really quick, and so on. All of this would have been really nice, but Decca themselves said that music isn't a priority for them whatsoever. After 2 years of promises, this game still doesn't stop music after defeating bosses. The overworld realm's hardest areas still play the music of the harmless, whimsical beaches, where pirates try to poke you with their silly little swords that explode by just looking in your general direction. Boss fights don't have their own battle music, even though I already composed many tracks for those a long time ago. The list goes on and on. I was given the bare minimum amount of tools to make a nice soundtrack with, and it's just incredibly demotivating having to listen to my own music being cheapened by awful implementation in the game. I've also proposed lots of sound design related changes and additions that would have made playing Roadmake a much nicer experience audio-wise. There are so many sound design things that this game just does awfully at best, and I'd like to talk about that in greater detail at some other point. Who knows, maybe someday I'll make a video called Bad Sound Design, Realm of the Man. I've been meaning to do something like that for a while now. A contract was signed at the very start of all this, saying Decca would implement a functioning credit section to Realm of the Mad God Exalt the moment it was publicly available, including a link to my music pages and portfolio. These credits didn't appear in the game until late July of 2020, almost half a year after the game was available. The link I was promised isn't in the game even to this day. One member of the user-generated content team made in-game musician skins that Decca promised to send me, then just forgot about. I had to ask about them again 6 months later. All in all, these things made working on this project much less fun than I had hoped for, and on top of that, not being paid a single cent for my work is also kind of terrible. Yeah, at the very start of this project I agreed to not being paid in return for being able to contribute to a game I used to love, and also exposure. How naive I was. Of course Decca can continue not paying passionate artists and make us feel disposable, but it's a huge moral failing on their end, considering Decca definitely has the money to compensate people for the work they put in. Keep in mind I'm young, I was even a minor when all of this began and absolutely not part of the big industry. Just skilled as a composer and sound designer. Anyone who's passionate about the game would have joined something like this, because it just feels like a huge honor to be invited, obviously. Decca should have paid their artists from the very beginning instead of exploiting this very passion that faded away the moment all this garbage unfolded. At some point, one Decca employee who I've talked a lot to during the project tried his best to get me fairly compensated for my work. Philo's his name, you might remember him from that other video I made a few years back. He even tried to get me a job at Decca so I could do audio implementation, sound design and composing for the game, and also get paid. After ages of back and forth, it just resulted in another disappointment. Audio isn't that much of a priority, I was told. Despite everything, I was just an afterthought. Keep in mind that I've been developing games for almost 10 years now. I've done a ton of work in audio programming, have written my own audio engines and so on. I know how to make all kinds of things related to music and sounds work better in Roadmake, so getting these bad news left a bitter taste in my mouth forever after. Every time I would play the game I couldn't stop thinking about how much potential was being unused and wasted even. One day I got the news that I could potentially even be paid, but the rates I was offered were mere fractions of what my work is worth. I was asked what my usual rates for video game soundtracks are, I told them and they basically just dismissed that. Like little shots of candy, this is supposed to encourage me to work faster and counteract all the disappointments and lost interest, not compensate me properly. I should have left this project much sooner. In hindsight, I don't even know why I stuck around for so long. But here we are. I'm leaving behind Realm of the Mad God and no longer making music for the game anymore. The contract I mentioned a while ago didn't run past February of 2020, so technically Decca doesn't even have any rights to the music I made for the game since then. As I'm writing the script for this video, Decca has decided to remove all this music to avoid legal trouble, I assume. I very clearly told them that I'm fine with the tracks staying in the game since I composed them for Rotmac, for this one purpose, and they would feel very out of place anywhere else. I'm way too exhausted and don't even have the money to take any legal action if I wanted to do that in the first place. The music should return to the game sometime soon though. There's been some back and forth between Decca and me and I'm giving them the rights to keep it in the game. It would feel like a huge waste otherwise. I would like to thank everyone who wrote me nice messages about the soundtrack and reached out to me in Discord or Twitter. It's been incredibly nice talking to you all and reading what you've got to say. If you've enjoyed my work, if you like the stuff I make, please like this video and subscribe to my channel to, you know, not miss out on future stuff. And if you would like to support me, please consider pledging a few dollars on my Patreon page. And as always, I would like to thank all my current patrons for keeping this channel alive and helping me create all these wonderful things. So, big thanks to Tobbun, Catherine, Great, Capnbubs, ZakkieVR, Anechoic, Katana, Sofia Figueroa, FoxyVeeVee, Christy Kamori, Grey Figment, Rachael Rae Mills, Jayne the Human, Teddy Edwards, Declan, Silver, Misty Burgess, WinDEU, Ellie Spetacular, Sora, Denis Quinn, Hexagon, Benjamin Burns, Andy Chamberlain, DivetotheHeart, DJ X328, Robinsong, Alechs, Mikkel Ormstrup, Flowergothic, JManning, Alison Madden, Ram, Iris, Mad MML Lucas, Rainbow Messenger, Day, Tenby, Topher Anselmo, Blue V12, and Lou. Thank you so much to all of you. I don't take any of this for granted, and I'm really glad to have you all, and I'll see you hopefully in the next video where I do something funny with sounds, probably. Someday I'm gonna stop talking about Realm of the Mad God and just make music all day. And I'm gonna kiss my wife. Bye!